ensure that they'll have all the promotion in the media that they need. So we are living in a fixed system, which is planned by people who see themselves as a natural elite. And you can trace the rise of them, really, although they were there before, but you can trace the rise of them back from the French Revolution, when it was over and done with. The writers who'd written all the propaganda for the revolution for years and years beforehand formed a Masonic society called the Encyclopedists, and they decided what sort of education children would then have from then on. And they decided that all knowledge would be in their hands, and all that the people would ever know was the knowledge that they gave out. And that's still going on today. They run the national education associations across the planet.
Yeah. I mean, obviously one thing that comes to mind is in regards to those people who wonder how this connects, with the most, current, people ruling the planet, I guess, is of course the Rhodes Scholarship. And I guess that this was founded by Cecil Rhodes himself, right?
He was a front man. Rothschild backed him up. So did another family related to the Beers in Africa, who lived in Britain, called Beer as well, B-O-E-R. So they also were heavily involved in the setting up of the society. The Rothschilds basically funded most of it, but they also appointed political advisors to take over from Cecil Rhodes. And they even put one of their own men in charge of South Africa. So they ran all sides, even what appeared to be opposing sides. They put their own men in charge. And Lord Milner, Alfred Milner, who ran a similar authorized organization for the British Crown, who had what they called the Round Table Group, merged with the Rhodes Society Group. And those two groups still, you'll see out today. They have the Round Table Society across the planet. They recruit them from universities, bureaucracies, the great foundations. And all the bureaucracies of the great foundations are interlinked into one. They all communicate so that they're all on the same track at the same time.
Do you think that they have this kind of, mythological view on themselves in regards to them using that name, the Round Table, of course, going back to, King Arthur? Do you think that they have this kind of view of themselves?
Well, they do. They're incredibly arrogant. The upper ones, of course, are especially selected. They used extra selective breeding for their wives. They don't choose their wives, they're picked for them. They're aristocracy. And from their own point of view, they are you call them hybrids, really, a hybrid race.
And
that's how they see themselves. They're not stupid, they have intelligence and tremendous cunning, but they also have the power, financial power, in the banks. Many of them own the banks. And they run financial institutions, the largest in the world. We're all trained to work to earn their money, which we then get taxed back to governments which they appoint. So it is their system, you see.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. In regards to diamonds, going back to that, I can't remember it now. It was a documentary I saw a while back in regards to, of course, De Beers and all of this, but stating that diamonds are semi-precious, and that there actually are kind of warehouses full of diamonds, basically. But in order to kind of keep the values high on those that they have, they constantly try to keep them
suppress the market.
Yeah, exactly. Scarce, I guess, like they aren't widely available. But I mean, do you think that this is the case, so to speak? That this is just like everything else, is a fraud. That there's diamonds all over the place, basically.
There are diamonds all over the place. It's more even intricate than that. When you understand that even the gold standard that price of gold, for instance, has been set for the last 150 years by the Rothschilds.
Sure.
From London.
Yeah.
And every morning the stock markets and everything sit and wait with a hushed breath for this king to come forward in his pajamas at his window and stick his finger out the window and tell the people what the price of gold is that day. Because that's how it's done.
It is,
it's just whatever he wants it to be is what it will be.
Yeah.
So it's spoken into existence, and everybody goes to work on it.
Sure.
So right away, here's the guys who own the gold mines all over the place, setting the price of the gold. Well, that's a good job. It's good work if you can get it. So this is the whole con game with everything. Same with diamonds.
Yeah.
Where I live, quite near me, there's a mining town.
Mm-hmm.
Sudbury is still a mining town today. It's best known for nickel, and although it has all other kinds of metals here, including gold that come across once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked through an old book in the library, the town library, on old Sudbury of the 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest building, it was called Rothschild Square, and the building on it was called the Rothschild House, big letters.
Oh.
It's not there anymore. So already they were into every major place in Canada where there was natural resources, and they owned it.
In regards to, as you said earlier, the British military, I guess, was, for example, down in Africa, building and setting up all the rail lines and so forth, the trains down there. It almost feels like, that they were down there, set up the system in place, and then kind of as quickly as they went in, basically left. But you're saying that the involvement is still there in regards to that they actually have privatized the industry, and now they can do what they want. So they don't have to be down there and do any of the dirty work, I guess.
Well, they don't have to. I mean, they kept saying how they're going to bring freedom to the Africans and democracy and the British way of life, you see. And so they took people who were basically free and tribal and then made them live half their life underground, working for this new thing called money, which they had to spend in town stores owned by the company that owned the mines, that took it all back from them. Everything is said under the guise of helping people.
Sure.
That's the most oldest trick in history.
Absolutely.
So they were exploited right away. I notice even now South Africa granted special privileges to De Beer Company. It's still there. And they have very special privileges, actually a better deal under Mandela than they had before under South Africans.
Well, that's interesting.
Well, payoffs work wonders,
Yeah, sure. Huh. Yeah. It's okay. So these are we're put in the official limelight, so to speak. We are handed these heroes also, I guess. That's what you're saying.
Oh, we are. People forget that it's quite. See, logic is supposed to always be the same when you apply it to the same situations and same problems. It is truly logic. It must always come out with the same answer. Now, when people go and blow up buses in Israel, there's a scream of terrorism. And when towers are blown up in New York, it's the scream terrorism. Nelson Mandela, if you go through his records, was not put in prison because he was at the time a communist leader. He was put in prison because he blew up school buses of children with hand grenades. And now this man is a hero. How come he is a hero and other ones are not heroes?
Yeah. Huh. My God, it's a tremendous, suppression that has been, going on down in Africa, and in regards to all the wars, all the corrupt leaders, and it feels like, over and over again, they just, a new guy is picked. He's as corrupt as the last one was, and they have revolutions on revolutions on revolutions, and nothing again takes place. And I mean, but I mean, in that sense, who's the visible? Is there any hand behind this, a visible hand, or a name, I guess we can kind of pinpoint point towards in regards to, I mean, who put these men in power, or is it simply the fact that these guys actually do a military overthrow there, but they are just, handed the weapons and the bombs basically in order to do them?
They're given the weapons and the bombs. The ones who are behind this, there's only one global order. It has been for a long time.
Yeah.
And as I say, it's composed of those who are the wealthy families that are the banking families of the World Bank. They are the World Bank.
Yeah.
They finance every country. They finance all the institutions. The big foundations are all not just interlinked with them, they're part of them. And they're also part of an inner religion, part of it based on eugenics and science. And they have, for a long time, they have used these techniques of exploiting countries. As I said, one of the best movies to watch was a Marlon Brando movie called Burn, where they actually show you very simply how a British agent, a provocateur, is sent in to a Caribbean island, and he uses everyone, the whites and the blacks, to overthrow the Portuguese who ran the country. The whites who lived there thought they would take it over. The blacks thought they would take it over. And of course, after they both got rid of the Portuguese, in comes the British.
Yeah.
But they show you how everyone is used. And that's been going up. That was a science that was taught to these agents in England.
Yeah.
For a few hundred years.
But now IMF is going to write off the debts to Africa and everything is going to be all right. Isn't that true?
Oh, I know. It's just amazing. So supposedly, you see, since the 50s, or at least the 40s, late 40s, every country that signed the United Nations Agreement, the Charter, also agreed to set up what they call a bank of overseas economic development. And what you'll find in every country, certain politicians who are generally the ones who do the left side of the things for government, they'll be liberal or even further left. They're the ones who get the jobs to take care of where the money goes to overseas corporations to help the poor countries. And what they do, of course, is simply funnel the money that goes to, say, Africa into their own corporations. The American corporations are British. That are set up in Africa. That's what it doesn't go to the people.
Yeah, it's the same story.
So this again is all part of it. These same people who were in politics and now work for the OECD, for the UN, sometimes leave the UN for a year or so, and they'll work in one of the big foundations. They go out round in a circle. Politics, foundations, United Nations.
Yeah.
And so everything is interlinked in the structure.
Yeah.
They don't have separate agendas. There's only one agenda.
Yeah. One thing that seems to be kind of pushing now, the latest scheme in regards to the connection with Africa here is, I saw an excellent documentary the other day called The Great Global Warming Swindle, I think, and they addressed this issue a little bit in regards to why Africa hasn't, been able to develop, industrially and so forth. And it seems to be that the latest kind of drumbeat on this is in regards to the environment, that there actually aren't been, able to develop industrially because, the fear of the environmental dangers and so forth. And you think that this could be, again now, could be drumming this as another reason? I mean, they are given, of course, again, crappy technology in regards to the solar powers and the environmentally safe techniques that I believe actually are out there, but we aren't, we aren't given them. But this seems to be the reason now. Would you agree on that?
They will use every excuse possible to claim what's happening in Africa is all